Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Paula Dagnan. We start tonight in Schuylkill County, where flames destroyed a home early this morning in West Mahanoy Township. Take a look at these pictures. The fire called in just before 5:30 this morning in the Brownsville Village. The fire broke out at the home at 1139 West Center Street. When firefighters arrived, the whole home was already engulfed in flames. Fire officials say at least 3 people lived there and everyone managed to get out safely. The chief said it took firefighters about an hour and a half to bring the fire under control. A state police fire marshal trooper investigating this morning's fire in Schuylkill County. Now on to Luzerne County, where police are looking for a Freeland man after they say he allegedly assaulted a child. Police ask anyone with information on the whereabouts of 41-year-old Eugene Nelly, who is wanted on felony strangulation and simple assault and reckless endangerment. According to police, during an interview at the Child Advocacy Center, the 10-year-old victim said within the past month, the man came home from work to their Freeland home and asked if the child took his medication. The child mistakenly said yes, but was thinking about the prior day. Nelly checked his medication and saw that the child didn't take it, and that's when he went into the room the boy was playing in, shoved him against a wall, grabbed him by the neck, and picked him up off the ground, strangling him. Nelly also spanked him repeatedly during the incident and also hit him with a belt. If you know the man's whereabouts, you're being asked to call 911. A Hanover Township woman was allegedly involved in a stabbing Wednesday night in Wilkes-Barre. Police were called to North Wilkes-Barre Boulevard around 7:30 Wednesday evening to reports of a stabbing. There, they found a 33-year-old man with a stab wound to the leg. He was taken to an area hospital for treatment of a non-life-threatening injury. Police then caught up with the suspect, identified only as a 29-year-old female. No charges have been filed at this time. The stabbing remains under investigation. A teenager accused of fatally stabbing a Kingston Township man will soon be transferred to an adult mental hospital. Zachary Lee Hockenberry was 14 years old when he fatally stabbed 45-year-old David Sinaraki back on September 11, 2016. He also stabbed Sinaraki's wife and daughter. Both survived the attack. Hockenberry is currently housed at Norristown State Hospital, but since he will be turning 18, he must be transferred to an adult mental hospital. He suffers from a malformation in the brain that causes confusion and seizures. Hockenberry was deemed incompetent to stand trial in 2017. A Luzerne County judge ordered Hockenberry be transferred to Clark Summit State Hospital and be periodically assessed to find out whether he becomes competent enough to stand trial. Pennsylvania's Auditor General is calling on state lawmakers to take action to combat fentanyl overdoses. WYLN's Julia Wiegand has more.
Pennsylvania Auditor General Eugene DePasquale urged state lawmakers yesterday to pass legislation making fentanyl test strips legal in the Commonwealth. While the state is making progress in the fight to curb fentanyl overdoses, his new special report still shows that significant work has to be done to save lives and stop the flow of the dangerous drug.
Too many people are dying, too many families are being shattered, too many police officers and first responders are at a risk of being poisoned by exposure to fentanyl, and the cost to taxpayers and our economy is staggering.
Data from 2017 shows fentanyl is one of the top 3 deadliest drugs in nearly every county throughout the state. Of the more than 5,000 overdose deaths that year, fentanyl was present in 67% of those Pennsylvanians' fatalities.
As Auditor General, it is my job to illuminate the financial costs of critically important topics such as this one. My 16-page report offers 3 observations and 10 recommendations on ways to help improve the fight against fentanyl and the disease of opioid use disorder.
According to the White House Council of Economic Advisors, opioid use and deaths cost the economy approximately $500 billion per year. DePasquale said this includes health care and addiction treatment, criminal justice, lost productivity and wages, and obviously, deaths.
Pennsylvania's share of that annual economic impact is about $25 billion. $25 billion. And that is, again, according to the White House Council, a cost of roughly $1,965 per Pennsylvania.
Fentanyl test strips are illegal in Pennsylvania because they're considered drug paraphernalia. DePasquale noted that fentanyl is often mixed into heroin, cocaine, and meth without the knowledge of users. By making the test strips legal, DePasquale said a tool like that can let users know if their drug contains fentanyl before it's too late. Without the ability to test for its presence, DePasquale says drug users could die from a fentanyl overdose without even knowing that they administered it themselves.
The chain of events that ends with an overdose often begins on the other side of the world in China, where fentanyl and its ingredients are most often manufactured and sold. Law enforcement agencies are forced to deal with the ramifications of a sophisticated international drug ring that brings most of the fentanyl into the country from China through the mail system. Some fentanyl is brought across our borders through legal ports of entry. Obviously, these events occur well beyond the reach of state and local law enforcement.
It's important to note that many of the things DePasquale talks about in this report and what the governor's working on are dealing with the issue after people have already walked the line. He said the cost to human beings, families, and Pennsylvania communities are simply too large, and that morally, we must do everything we can to prevent fentanyl abuse and opioid use disorder while getting those already suffering the help they need to be productive members of society once again. Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Julia Wiegand.
A public hearing is set for tonight on the proposed closure of State Correctional Institute Retreat. The doors will open at 6. The hearing gets underway at 7. It's happening at the Greater Nanticoke Area High School. The Pennsylvania Department of Corrections made the announcement last month about the closure and says it's necessary to close a $140 million deficit. Employees will be offered positions at another facility. More changes coming to the Hazleton Area School District as their $6.8 million Swimming Pools to Classroom project is coming to a close. During a work session on Tuesday, the board instructed its architect to design and estimate costs for changing the first floor of Hazleton Area High School into a special education center. The board voted 5-0. 4 members were absent. They voted to have Schrader Group determine the feasibility and cost of converting the high school's first floor into that special education center. A special education